Today's episode is sponsored by Royal Oak Floors, a brand that has helped shape the vernacular of high-end Australian interiors for more than 20 years. Their European oak floors are thoughtfully crafted to evoke a sensation, warmth, harmony, and the quiet confidence of premium design. We're honoured to partner with a brand that champions craftsmanship, sustainability, and the designers who bring spaces to life. Explore the range at royaloakfloors.com.au. Claudia Lambert is a Sydney-based interior designer known for her refined, emotionally resonant spaces that balance elegance with everyday livability. With a varied work background, her move into interior design has been a poignant one. Her style blends architectural awareness and a keen eye for texture, with her projects often shaped by her clients' personalities, routines, and aspirations. Her work often features a harmonious mix of natural materials, interesting colour palettes, layered tones, and thoughtful spatial flow, creating interiors that feel both timeless and deeply personal. A leader in residential design, Claudia prioritises atmosphere as much as aesthetics, ensuring that every detail contributes to a cohesive experience. Claudia's philosophy centres on the idea that great design should not only be seen but felt, quietly enhancing how people live, move, and connect within a space. Today, she joins us to share insights into her evolution into design, her process, and her inspirations. Claudia, welcome to Her Design, Her Story. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm very excited you've come in from Sydney, especially, so thrilled that you could be here.
Me too.
I had the pleasure of being on a panel with you recently and we had some really interesting conversations around work and life, but one of my key takeaways from that conversation was you had this incredible career completely opposite to being in design before you moved into the interior space, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if we could touch on that and go back to the beginning of what your first study pathways looked like when you finished at school.
Actually, I think I first started attempting to do some kind of business degree, which was laughable for someone like me,
helpful.
Like me. And I quickly learned that I was not going to be doing that and I was not going to be any good at that. And I had been seeing a therapist and I thought, this is kind of interesting. And I was really interested in looking at me and my position in my family and family systems. And I thought that that could be something that I felt passionate enough about to pursue a little further.
Yeah.
And so I went on and started studying in that field, went on to work with really vulnerable communities in Sydney, in King's Cross, drug and alcohol, the homeless community, working girls, things like that. And I really loved that job and I loved how dynamic it was, and every single day was completely different.
Yeah.
And I think that really appealed to my my energy and I'm not going to say maybe ADHD energy. I don't know. I'm not diagnosed with it, but just like needing something fresh and new all the time. And I really loved it. And then I became really interested in how family systems work and how these people got to be where they were. In this position in their life. And that led me down a path of doing a master's degree in couple and family therapy, looking in a systems-focused lens. So I ended up working for a large organisation and sort of moved up into more of a management role and looking after domestic violence programs and post-separation programs and women living violent situations. Wow. And at that time, I'd got married and I had my first child, went back to work, and I was like, this is heavy. This is a lot, trying to manage my family and having a child. And then I got pregnant again and I thought, I think I just need to relook at my life and how it's functioning for me so I can keep surviving. And so I sort of started dabbling in, I started a blog and it was called Peep My Style, which sounds super cringy now, but it was cool at the time, I promise. And then I started getting some traction. All it was like literally my best friend Hannah is a photographer, an amazing one. And so she would just photograph everything that I sort of did. And I turned it into a blog and posted really pretty images, and they were like carefully curated and properly photographed. So it kind of looked quite nice from the very beginning. Yeah. And I was just putting my idea of what I loved out there, and people responded to it. And I started getting requests to help people style their homes or select furniture or style homes for magazines, things like that.
Oh, amazing.
And then that led to other opportunities, and I then got pregnant with my second child, and I thought maybe this is the time to sort of try and move, because I was straddling both at the same time, working in interiors and working full time in my other career. Yeah. And I was then able to sort of just go, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to make the call and do something that makes me incredibly happy and leave the nice, safe security of my salary, my yearly salary, and leave it and try and go it on my own. Yeah. Yeah.
So how many years altogether were you working within that sort of therapy space?
I would say probably about 15 years.
Oh, wow. So quite significant. You would have seen a lot of transformation over that time.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yeah. And was that something where people, obviously a bit of a community service as well, do people actively come and seek you out when they're really needing help, or is that sort of working hand in hand with different agencies?
No, so I worked in an organisation that people reached out to naturally around specific kind of services, so around post-separation domestic violence. So I was sort of managing teams across New South Wales and practitioners and clinicians across that field and in a supervisory capacity. Yeah. So yes, it was a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. No, I find that really fascinating and incredibly inspiring.
I feel like I've ticked my altruistic box for my life, and now I can do something.
I mean, I find it hard enough working in design, which is a very pleasant space to be working in. But if you're a bit stressed or had a bad day, coming home and then turning on that really sort of positive parenting mode can be challenging enough. So I can only imagine if the content of the day is really heavy.
I think it'd be harder now with the kids being older. They're like 9 and nearly 12. Before they were really young. So it was just like mum mode, you know, it wasn't. Yeah. It was like really young mum mode. But I think had I still been doing that now, absolutely it would have been a lot harder. Yeah. I think the thing now is there's no end to the workday. So it's managing that and being really clear with myself around, okay, boys, you know, I've got to take this call or do this last piece of work for the next hour, and then I'm all yours kind of thing. So
Yeah. Oh, no, that's amazing. So with that move into that more creative space, was there anyone around you when you were growing up, or anyone in your family that had been in a creative pathway that had inspired that, or was that truly just an intuitive
I think it just might have been an intuitive thing. Mum actually started out doing design, and I recently found one of her really beautiful hand-drawn, handwritten pieces of work from the 70s on Mies van der Rohe, and it's so beautiful. I'll put it on my Instagram and show people for anyone that wants to see it. And so she definitely had that in her, but mum was a stay-at-home mum, and she was really, really present for us and nurtured me and my two brothers really beautifully. So I didn't have anyone directly in a creative field. No.
So that's amazing. So you start getting a bit of traction through your blog.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back and do any formal study or anything around design, or has that just been?
I did.
You did.
I did more recently. In the past, sort of, I can't even remember now. Maybe like in the past 3 years, I did.
Oh wow. Okay.
But I was. I sort of got asked to do someone's house who's just come back around this week to do another property of theirs. So someone that I went to school with that lives overseas and had an investment property. This is when I first had my first child. Literally just came out of me. Like a week later, I was on site doing this property for her that she wanted as an Airbnb in Bondi, and for them to stay out when they were here. And so I completed that, and it was a really beautiful project. There was not really any color in it or anything. It was super neutral, but it was like really layered. We used a lot of art, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like, yes, I can do this. That was one of those projects that propelled me in between having the two kids to go, yep, this is actually something I can do properly full time.
Yeah.
And now she's come back around again. They bought another property
that's amazing.
in Tamarama, so I'm going to be taking that on as well soon.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So skipping forward a few steps, I was just interested to know, obviously with that design background, I always find it quite interesting if people haven't necessarily worked for other designers or in other design firms. It gives you almost, I guess one of the pros of that is there's nothing to compare.
No, it's a complete naivety though. Like I had no idea, but I didn't actually think, oh yeah, I'll go work for another designer. I'll do something. It was always just, yes, you will be doing this by yourself for yourself. Yeah. You'll be running your own show. I always say I would get fired if I work for someone else. I need to be on my own time, running my own show. I feel most comfortable doing that and in my integrity doing that also. I don't want to let other people down. I want, just responsible to me and whoever is working for me. And that's what I love so much about this job. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, and I think, when the reality is if you do have children and that sort of thing, I've worked in quite structured environments for a long time as well, and I think that can be great. And even I'm sure there are sort of elements of learning from your previous work experience that you always bring into the work that you're doing now. But I think absolutely that ability to be a bit flexible, even often at the weekend now, if there's an afternoon, if the girls are content or out or doing something, I can sort of quietly do a few hours of work at home, and I'm actually quite happy to do that rather than too much stress during the week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can pick my kids up from school. I can drop them to school. I can do all those things.
Yeah. So in terms of the work you're working on at the minute, you do the most beautiful projects. And one of the things that really strikes me is that amazing use of colour, like really beautiful palette. Is that something that sort of evolved with experience over time, just introducing those little personal components?
Yeah, absolutely. I was literally just reflecting on this yesterday as I'm working on a project that's coming out in a couple of months.
Yeah.
And the editor asked me, it's really obvious how much more saturated in colour your projects become over time. Why is that?
Yeah.
And I said, I think it's because I just got much more confident in knowing what worked together. And I was very happy to take risks. And in my own home is where I sort of took all those main risks to start with. And so the more confident I became with my style and not sort of worrying about whether or not it was right or wrong, the more sort of goals I kicked in terms of coming out with something that looked really beautiful and layered instead of, just filled with a whole bunch of different furniture. And I became a lot more confident with that and layering colours and how they made a room feel, which is so important to me.
Yeah, and I find so interesting because I love seeing those before and afters.
Aren't they the most satisfying thing ever?
I'm a bit obsessed.
Like, I've got to. So I always make sure to take the before so I can go, but look what it was before.
I know.
I know it looks nice now, but like, look how white and horrible it was before.
Yeah.
Colour makes the biggest difference.
And the texture and the overlay of all the components. In terms of the work services that you offer, are you doing joinery design and everything down to that detail as well as the furniture and artwork? Yeah.
Yes, all of it. So I have people who I work very closely with. So my brain is not the technical brain. Mine's the creative. I'm like, this is what I want. This is the profile. This is, this is the finishes that I want and how I want it to function. But then I have my brain who works with me who goes, okay, Claudia, so this is the parameters of what we've got to work with and this is how we're going to sort of lay it all out. And does all the hard mathing.
Yeah. Well, the construction side
Yeah.
of it. So what does your current business structure look like at the moment?
So, I mean, it's essentially it's me.
Yeah.
And then I have Lee who works very closely with me, and we've just finished our first large project, which is coming out in around a month, which is
amazing.
a commercial project in Sydney and Paddington.
Yeah.
And so she's come on for the first time with me there. I have someone who manages sort of my social media side of things and all the financials and everything like that. So I've just been outsourcing to a point. I want to remain super nimble and adaptable, and I never want to be huge or big or anything like that. That's not a goal of mine. A goal is to continue doing what I'm doing, make enough money to support my life and my children and enjoy it. And
Yeah, and I think it's been interesting speaking to a few people now about, you know, what that idea of success or where that comfortable balance is, because sometimes you sort of, I was speaking to someone recently who scaled up and then she said she was basically spending her whole time in that kind of HR management situation.
Not for me. Not for me.
So it's that
as
kind
much
of
as I
fine
love
line.
people, I want to be friends with people. I don't want to manage them.
Yeah. And it's it's trying to sort of balance that workflow.
And I love being on site. Like, I love talking to all the tradies and working out things and asking a million different questions, and they find me highly annoying, but it's how I learn. So I love it.
Yeah, and I find every project, even after what feels like a million years of working now, I feel like every project you still learn something from being on site.
If you're not learning, you're not growing.
Yeah. Like construction detail.
Everything.
Something, all the important things. So your main work is residential, but moving into this first commercial project, how did you find that from a planning design point of view? Did you sort of apply similar principles, or was it a bit more challenging?
I think there was definitely a lot more. Listen, I think overall it can be less bespoke when you're sort of catering to a wider audience. But this one, I was really lucky in that what they wanted was something really personal that felt like walking into someone's living room when you first enter the space. So that was an easy win for me. And so it was sort of making it feel like it has a soul, but that it wasn't, you know, Sarah's living room or whoever's. It could have been like any kind of cool girl that you walk into. And then having sort of treatment rooms that branch off that, and then the kitchen and bathroom, which are like their own little jewel box moments in themselves. And so it just felt like a resi project to me still. But then there was just like things that have to be to code and to all that kind of stuff. And there have to be exits at certain places and locks in certain places. So it was just sort of, complying.
That overlay. Yeah, which is really interesting. I am quite interested, particularly when we reached this point in our career and, but, you know, working for quite a number of years now. Are there any sort of a moment of reflection, I guess, are there any key personal attributes that you feel you possess which have really helped you navigate an amazing move into design and the success that you've had in your business?
I think as much as there's like a whole layer of imposter syndrome, which we'll just pass.
You don't need that.
I'm pretty tenacious and strong-willed. My brothers and my parents would attest to that.
That's good. That's me as well.
And I just felt always like there just was no other way, and I really genuinely just believe that it will work.
Yeah.
And it has so far, fingers crossed. Like, you know, there's those quiet months like at the end of the year, beginning of the year before projects start up again, where I'm like, oh, have I done the right thing? What's happening? And then I think, no, Claudia, you got it. Like it'll be fine. It will work out.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But there's no kind of plan B. There's no, I could always just go work for someone else. That's just not an option for me. This is what I'm going to be doing.
I know, and I think you get to a point in life where you just have to back yourself, right? Yeah. Which I think is amazing. And I think it's those pivotal moments that are so inspiring that you have made that choice in something that makes you really happy. Because how many years have you been working in design now?
So let's say officially Fred, my youngest, is 9 this month.
Oh,
So
wow.
there
Okay.
you go.
Similar to me. Yeah.
9 years.
I know it goes quickly.
That plus 15, that means I'm really old.
No, sometimes it pays not to work it out.
Yeah, don't work it out. Don't work it out. There was a crossover.
Yeah. I did also want to touch on that idea of inspiration, because I know I find, with every new project often comes new opportunity, but you need that fresh motivation to really give it.
I'm no shortage of that.
Everything. Yeah. What are some key ways that you sort of keep yourself inspired?
Like always first art galleries, looking at art, looking at sculpture, looking at architecture. I could get completely inspired. Recently I was looking at a friend's holiday photos from Italy, and there was one beautiful old building and it had the most insane details, tiling, everything on it. I'm like, I can design an entire house around this one photo easily. The palette, everything about it. And
That's
that would like
amazing.
set me off. And I'll sit there and I'll go on a tangent. I'll like find pieces of furniture, tiles, fabrics and stuff that could speak to that one image that I found.
Yeah.
And that happens all the time to me. All the time.
Oh, that's amazing. I think a lot of that, though, is an credit to you just being open to seeing those things. Sometimes I feel like if I'm in a bit of a hurry, I miss so much. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm really into graphic design. I really admire people who are good at graphic design, like typography and, how things are laid out and just beautifully, like magazines, heaven, like all of that. I get so inspired by that. Like it doesn't have to be a interiors magazine, it could be anything. Like fashion also, like, super structured, Phoebe Philo collection, new Balenciaga, I'm obsessed with it. Like that color palette with the violet, the tan caramel leather, faux alligator skin, like all of it together, like the materiality of it, the layering of it, the color balance, all of it. I get super excited, as you can tell.
No, I think it's good. I've always loved fashion, and I feel like particularly in the last year, I know there's been a lot of movement in those fashion houses with designers, but I feel like now that imagery is so accessible, you don't have to necessarily buy Vogue magazine. I mean, I still love it.
I still love it too.
Like on Instagram and things, like you are seeing such current stuff so quickly. I think it is inspiring, and they're often thinking, seasons ahead.
But I'm on eBay, like getting like editions of magazines that I missed out on like ages ago, and I'll pay $100 for like
that's good.
an Italian Vogue or something ridiculous, because there's like 2 or 3 images in it that I just love so much. I just physically want to own them. I want to own the images.
Yeah, and there's something still really beautiful about magazines. I think I can't get past it.
Yeah, the best.
I know. I have moments. I'm like, no, I'm not going to spend the money, and then I'll just have a massive blow.
Oh no, I do. I literally spent $600 at a bookshop the other day. I was horrified, but I sat there for hours and hours and got so much inspiration from flicking through those pages. It's wild.
Yeah, and
I will go back to it again and again and again.
Yeah, and I think there's that thing as well. I've been talking to a few people lately about, I guess with all that digital information now, clients can be really well informed, which is great. And I mean, I've had a couple of clients come to me with the most beautifully curated direction, which has actually meant that we've started in a really clear pathway. Yeah. But then others come with this sort of mishmash of, because it's just like this, I like that, I like that, I like that. Yeah. So I think there is something quite interesting, because magazines are so curated.
Yes.
And
they also
they
don't
have
show
to be
actually what things look like. Like they look very different in lighting, like paint colors look different.
Yeah.
Everything looks different actually in real life. So it's about like helping people curate and be realistic about those inspirations that they have and how that translates into actual design in their home and everyday life.
Yeah. Do you find a lot of people come now, we've sort of been talking to a few people about this sort of idea of preconceived design, are people now quite confident? Do you find it helps people with that confidence in colour? I feel like there's a lot more colour being used in projects now.
Yes, there is.
Which is exciting.
Yeah, it's much more saturated, like high gloss ceilings and coloured carpet, which is so beautiful in those like mid-century modern homes with all that wood. It's just heaven. Yes, I think people are a little more open to it. In fact, I had a client the other day going, you know what? We'd actually considered a coloured carpet for the bedroom if you're open to it. I'm like, yes, I would be open to it.
Yeah, no, it's exciting.
So, yeah, it is. It does open the door a little more in that way. But also it just means you have to gently guide them. Sometimes my gentle is like a bulldozer. But you know, sometimes it's better to just hear it straight and like, guys, that is not going to work in this space.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And ultimately, I think that's the service people want, right? I mean, they've engaged a designer for that. And also to push people a little bit further than they would expect. I did also want to touch on your life outside work. Oh, yeah. I know you've got two boys. Do I have one? I don't think I have one. Absolutely. Yeah. I know that boundary can be really blurred, and often, you know, touched on it before, that idea of work often can seep a little bit into, you know, personal life, but I sometimes think that's not always terrible. No. And I think one of the great things with design is your kids can see that thing you've created. You know, there is that wonderful sense of being able to share what you've done. It would be amazing if my kids one acknowledge day that whatsoever. I'm like, guys, look at this magazine. They're like, cool, Mum. One day they'll appreciate it. Yeah. How do you find that juggle with two children and work? Is that something that's sort of ever evolving for you? Or I don't find it that hard. I love being with my boys more than anything. Yeah. We hang out. They're into mountain biking at the moment, so that's all that we do. I saw you posted a really cool video the other day. Oh, what? As my daughter was like dressing 1,000 Labubus, your kid was going on some massive I know. Skate ramp. It is great because I don't have to have all this crap around the house. Literally, they've got their mountain bikes and their iPads. But I just love hanging out with them. So that's great. We do that. Like, it's after dinner, we go out for an hour and go like around bike riding and stuff like that. Or they're really, really kind and gentle to me. Maybe it's being a separated parent. Me and their dad, we're really close and get on really well and have a great relationship. But I think there's like a little maybe extra level of kindness because I'm the only parent there at home. They're not playing anyone off against each other. They're really, you know, kind. Yeah. And understand that, you know, I got to work in order to pay for their fuel suspension. Yeah. Mountain bikes. And it's not going to come out of nowhere. So I'm trying really hard to teach them about that. And I really think they get it and they're quite empathic around it. And they will sometimes come on site with me. They'll try and avoid it like the plague. They're not really interested at all. So that's so funny. Yeah. Well, that's so funny. One of my daughters loves coming to site, but every project we go to, she thinks it's ours. Yeah, yeah. Like, I'm really sorry, sweet. It's not. Yeah, she's decided she wants to be a builder. So I was like, property developer. That's awesome. No, a builder. We need She thinks it's great. It was actually quite funny. I think I've noticed, and I was actually speaking to a builder recently, I've noticed a lot more females on site, whether it's with the joiners or there was a wonderful painter on a project the other day who sort of specialises in refinishing those old solid plaster. You know, it's a real art form, but his granddaughter was working with him. Wow. So Annabelle thought this was fantastic. She's like, see, girls can build. I'm like, absolutely they can. Yeah, they can. Yeah. They can. So I think it's great, that sense of connection. And sometimes I guess because the time that you're with them, you're really focused. Yeah. It's nice to have try to be. I'm like, guys, can I bring my phone out with me, or you want no phone, Mum, today? They're like, no phone. I'm like, great. Okay, I'll leave my phone at home while we go out for a ride. Yeah. Whatever. And that's fine. Yeah. Oh, that's good. I did want to also just touch on any future upcoming projects before we move on. I know you have mentioned you've got your first commercial project coming out. Yes. And a residential project. What else is on the drawing board at the moment?
I've actually got a couple of projects in South Australia. I've got a client in South Australia,
wow.
and they own a bunch of hair care salons and facilities. And so I've been working with them over the past couple of years, and then that sort of moved into helping them with their homes as well, which has been quite nice. So the salon space is something. This is probably number 3 that I'm working on at the moment, which is quite nice because it's quite. There's a feminine aspect to it. It's not too intense. I wouldn't be interested in those sort of super huge, large scale commercial officey kind of spaces. I don't think that would be somewhere I would lean
Different
toward.
sort of workplace
but the small
typology,
sort of boutique spaces are really nice. And then working on a home to prepare it as a high end Airbnb.
Yeah.
A beautiful home in Sydney's lower North Shore on the water.
Oh, gorgeous.
Furnishing it sort of from the ground up, touching sort of every space, which is going to be really lovely. And their leaning is towards 70s Italian, which is just my fantasy.
Yeah.
So it's lots of really exciting projects.
That's great working interstate as well. Do you quite like that?
I love it.
It mixes it up a little bit.
Absolutely. I love it. I've had a couple of projects in Melbourne, Adelaide. It's been. I had one in Utah in
America.
the States. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That was fun.
Residential.
How good.
Yeah, that was fun. So yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I think I mean, even though obviously you can bring similar concepts, I think each city, particularly in Australia, offers quite a different aesthetic.
Yeah, yes,
opportunity.
Definitely.
Yeah, I find it hard to capture in words Sydney, but I think because of the water and there's that sort of aspect to it, there's some great work up in Sydney.
I know a lot of people do lean into the environment.
Maybe it's more the architecture.
Yeah, and the architecture and all that kind of stuff. I think just the way that I am in terms of like being a bit of a bowerbird and like liking the shiny, pretty things. I think that's always where I start.
Yeah.
And so, that's what I lean into when I first meet a house or whatever it is. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing these projects come out this year. I love your work.
I can't wait. Well, this new salon is like, it's a sort of a departure in terms of colour. It's a little more muted, but it's super heavy on the materiality. So really leaning into that and beautiful art and furniture as always.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
so
really
exciting.
excited.
Before we wrap, I'm going to ask you some quick questions under her edit.
Oh, yes.
Yes. The first question is, can you remember your first design-related purchase, like furniture or artwork?
I did think about this question first, and I was flicking back through my photos, and I'm pretty sure it was the Oluce brushed gold Atolo lamp.
Oh, gorgeous. It's a classic.
It was a classic, right?
Yeah.
And I sort of just moved from room to room. I felt super proud that I owned it. I loved it.
Yeah, they're timeless.
Yeah.
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 No,
and I've used it, in quite a few people's homes in the bronze version, in the white version, in the black version.
Yeah.
In many iterations of sizes. It's a great lamp.
Yeah, no, it's gorgeous. Anything you're particularly coveting at the moment? Or is there a go-to?
Yeah. There's a pair of vintage Italian armchairs that I've got my eye on at Nicholas and Alistair.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, I've always got at Descartes actually cannot afford to buy, but I think it's that and always art. I really have to manage myself around art.
Yeah, same a little bit.
Yeah, it's
I love it though. It's
otherwise,
so good.
I literally do not have enough walls for it. But at the moment, I'm leaning into sort of more photographic art. I wouldn't mind a Derek Henderson photograph. He does these beautiful brutalist architectural photographs. I'd love one of those.
Look, I feel like we could have worse addictions.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Next travel destination, actual or aspirational?
So I like to think of it as actual.
Yep.
But with the state of the world, it might be aspirational at the moment.
Tricky.
But it's Serbia. and I want to
Oh,
drive
wow.
from the top to the bottom, whatever it is, just looking at all the old abandoned brutalist structures,
Amazing.
monuments, everything. I'm obsessed with it. I would live in a concrete bunker in 2 seconds.
Oh, that's
So I love it so much, and
Yeah.
it's and sort of going into Yugoslavia a little bit too. I would love to do it. Ideally, I love to do things by myself, and I would love to do this by myself, but I feel a little nervous.
Yeah.
I would love to go with a photographer so they could just like capture everything beautifully for me.
Amazing.
But that is definitely next, and maybe Paris. I haven't
It's
been
a
to
complete
Paris in like
contradiction.
20 years, like literally like 20 years. So, but I think Serbia is definitely.
Where did you get that idea? Have you read about something I just find
I've
that
got
so
a whole
fascinating.
bunch of literature on brutalist architecture,
Oh,
and I've just
wow,
always
yeah.
been drawn to it. It's so polarizing. Like you either love it or hate it. It's so hyper masculine and harsh,
Yeah.
and which is really at odds with like my level of femininity in some of my other designs and the soft pink and all the
Yeah.
fabrications and everything.
I think it's interesting.
But that's what I love about it, just the tension between it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my favorite part of design, in not having any rules around that, and being able to put something pink and fluffy inside something concrete.
Yeah.
And I love that. And that's just,
I know. I think that's super fascinating.
I love it. Love it. Yeah.
And then on to Paris on the way home. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, well, yeah, actually.
Just round out the
Sarah.
trip. That sounds like a fascinating
Again,
trip.
You know, I feel guilty being away from my kids for too long. So a week is kind of the longest I'm ever
I know,
away
it's sort
from
of
them.
a difficult balance. I normally try and do something not necessarily amazing and wonderful, but just something each year. It's got a bit loose now, but on my own or with a friend, I think for me, it's the ultimate liberation.
What's yours?
I love going to New York,
Yeah.
but I've got family there, and
Oh.
I think it's a city, because I know my way around so well
Yeah,
now.
okay.
There's a certain joy in arriving and feeling quite comfortable
Mm.
there. And every time I find the American designers and things I've met there, even though often clients, like I've specified a little bit of stuff from there, but obviously some of the furniture there is next level, sort of in that price bracket.
Isn't it?
They are so friendly and so good at connecting.
Aren't they?
And it's always just this sort of, oh, you're here for Design Week, come and do this. And I think for me, it just feels this cup of a little bit, it's always a bit challenging. It's always like that liberation and just this kind of, I can kind of completely connect with a whole different group of people over there. So I feel like for me, I would love to go back to Paris, but I should be more adventurous than New York.
Well,
But it's a comfort
That's like when I was
place
in
for
LA
me.
last year, and I was staying at the Kelly Wearstler Hotel.
Oh, the one in Santa
The
Monica?
proper, yeah.
Yes, that's gorgeous.
And I had that same experience. Like, it's like you feel like they open the doors especially for you. Like,
well, there was no judgment. If you're not here buying things, that's totally fine. But
Yeah,
how
it was
great that you
great.
visited.
But seeing all that furniture that you see in magazines and on Pinterest and on Instagram, but just touching it and meeting it in person and having that experience with it, and the art especially, was just game changing. So that's why travel is so important.
I know. I think for me, I can sort of tick the box of seeing family and a couple of friends, and I'm very comfortable with that now, but I do need to branch out a little bit. But actually, having said that, this year their furniture fair, the art fair and the jewellery fair all align over 4 days.
You should go.
Yeah.
You should definitely go. And then Queenstown. I'm going to Queenstown.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I go to Queenstown every year because that fills my cup. That is one place that fills
Yeah,
my cup, just
a bit
being
closer
in
to
nature.
home.
I'm a mountains girl. I love it.
Yeah.
That's kind of my vibe when it comes to scenery and nature. I love it.
Yeah, but closer to home.
Yeah, and I can go with the kids, so I don't feel guilty, and we go there and have fun together.
No, you need a little bit of time.
Yeah.
A design faux pas you secretly love or love to hate?
Animal print.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
I love it. I love it. There's this Boyac fabric that it's a tiger print velvet, and it comes in this beautiful dirty pink a blue, and a cream, a goldy cream, and it is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I don't care what anyone thinks. I think it's chic.
No, and I think in the right space it can be pretty fun actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, good one.
I want a couch. I want a pink tiger print couch.
Yeah, that would be pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It'll happen one day in my
Becomes a bit-
concrete bunker.
Yeah. Just add a bit of life in there. Favorite creative icon, living or legend?
Oh, maybe someone like super aspirational, like Carlo Scarpa or something.
Yeah.
Like Italian designer and architect. Just his use of like materials and focusing on those kinds of details and what a space feels like, how he wanted people to feel in a space. And the furniture design, all of it. It's so insane that, you know, someone can come up with such timeless, iconic designs that have lasted for so long.
Well, that's it. I think some of those, you know, architects and designers from that time, it's incredible that
They're
it's
just
still
so
got
clever.
such sway now.
Yeah, they're very envious of that, the way their brains think and the skill level that they have to also do that as well.
Yeah, that sort of construction engineering.
Yes, I wish I had that intelligence.
Oh yeah, it was not my forte.
Oh, I'd love it. Yeah.
If your star was a celebrity, who would it be? I'm looking forward to your answer.
I did think about this a little bit, and I changed my answer about 600 times. I was thinking like a little bit Sofia Coppola, a little bit Jacob Elordi. Jacob Elordi,
he's my favourite.
because he's very good looking. But he's always like, he's got like the bones there. He's got an Aussie sensibility about him to the core, like functional.
Functional. Talented. Practical.
Very talented. But like has this edge about him.
Yes.
And like he carries this, you know, huge Bottega bag or whatever. And he's got that just like element
I
of
know,
cool
he
where
wears
you
the
go,
Bottega
you know
well.
what you're talking about. Look at that, like, and that's like, oh, you've got that Italian chair in there. Yeah, okay, you know what you're talking about. And then there's like, it could be laid with other stuff like Levi's jeans and like cool, like plain basic t-shirts and stuff like that. But then you've just got those like extra special little moments and elements that elevate it and make it a little bit aspirational. I don't know.
But with a
Such
sense
hard
of,
question.
not to bring it back to Jacob, but that sense of
No, we can bring it
your
back to
own
Jacob.
personality coming through as well.
Yeah.
I think that's what's been quite fun in seeing a young, successful Australian come through.
Yeah,
Is,
totally.
I mean, amazing wardrobe, but you can see
Yes.
he wears it in his own way,
Totally.
which I think can come back to that sense
Which
of
is so
how we
hard to
style
not
spaces.
be so heavily influenced by everyone around you and not compare yourself to all the insanely talented people around there, like, you know, Simone Hugg and David Flack and all of those people, YSG, like it's like, oh, they do everything so well, like the layering, the materiality, the texture, the colour, the pieces with provenance. And it's like, okay, I admire all that, but how do I do it in my way?
Exactly. And I think some of the reality with that as well, I was at a talk recently and there was a lot of discussion around the sense of bringing your own sensibility, but it really goes hand in hand with the client opportunity as well. So sometimes there is that reality of, okay, I'm working on a lesser budget or a smaller scope.
Absolutely.
How can I? And there's still ways to
Yes.
make it feel really
Always ways. And I say
original.
that to everyone. They're like, oh, but I don't have the budget that you had with that project I saw you doing. I said, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I said, I will find a way to bring that energy and that feeling that you want, whether it's through fabrics that we choose. We might upgrade on a fabric. We might downgrade on a rug. Who knows? Like, it'd just see where the balance lies.
Yeah.
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 The high-low. Love a high-low.
High-low.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time, Claudia. I loved our chat today. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.